Hello and welcome to ATI 4448. In this session, we are going to address project quality management. Project quality management is a set of processes and techniques that ensures the project satisfies the needs for the deliverables, the satisfaction of the customer, whatever is needed or intended from that project to accomplish. It will include all the activities that determine the quality policy, objectives, and responsibilities and implement them within the quality system. When we do that, of course, we have to address certain issues that's related to quality management. Some of them are looking at the standards and guidelines, maybe ISO 9000 or whatever is related to that product or that service provided to the customer. So we have to be compatible. We have to address these issues once we are talking about quality management in that project. Another thing that we need to address once we are managing the quality is the ownership approaches that's been recommended by quality gurus like Deming, Juran, and Grosby. In addition, we have to emphasize on the continuous improvement approach and the total quality management in the project management and in the deliverable item, product, or service. That will be addressed in both the management of the project and the product of the project at the end. So both in these two different, let's say, life cycle of the project and the outcome of the project, we need to address quality and quality management. In addition, the administration, the upper management, and the customer need to understand the consequences of the failure to meet quality requirements and how much would it affect and create a negative outcome to the project, overall project outcome, or to the stakeholders themselves, the effect of the failure to meet quality requirements on the customer, on the team members, the administration, or the upper management. So everybody needs to understand the importance of quality and the implementation of quality management. Some of the examples for negative consequences that can be given to the upper management to understand the importance of quality is the overworking of a project team, which may lead to employee turnover. In addition, rushing the plant quality through inspection, which may produce negative consequence, and some of the errors will be undetected when the product is delivered to the customer. So whether we rush the work to be done or we overwork the employees, both of these are negative or they have negative consequences on the project outcome and the stakeholders. The project quality management processes includes quality planning, We need to plan for the quality. How are we going to do that? To ensure or assure quality, so quality assurance, and then to control the quality of the project. Those processes actually interact with each other as well as with other processes within the project life cycle. For the first process, quality planning is identifying which quality standards are relevant to the project and determining how to satisfy them. And again, like we said, we need to look at the different policies, guidelines, standards that's available in the market related to such a service or related to such a product or outcome, and implement them. Make sure that we are satisfying these quality standards. The quality planning is a key facilitating process during the project planning process. Actually, in modern quality management, quality is planned in and not inspected in. The quality planning was part of the quality assurance before, but after developing some standards and rules and policies, quality researchers and gurus realized that they should separate the quality planning from quality assurance. To start the planning, we need to find first the quality policies or standards, rules, guidelines that's related to the project. If there is a joint venture, then a quality policy for the individual project for that project in particular need to be developed. The management team is the one responsible for dissipating the quality policy to all project stakeholders. It should be distributed through the communication channels, the proper communication channels, and to everybody involved in the project. To understand the requirements and the project deliverables or the end product at the end of the project, and implementing the quality policies that is related to that outcome, we need to go over the scope statement or understand the scope statement and make sure we are addressing the quality policies related to that product or to that outcome. Again, we need the standards and regulation for the company, the organization itself. So not only the policies outside, but also standards within. So whether we are talking about external standards and regulations or organizational within the company standards and regulations. Maybe some kind of forms, processes, guidelines that need to be followed, and that will improve or that will make sure that the quality is being carried out through the whole execution process. In addition, other processes outputs might be needed to plan for quality, such as the number of resources available, the procurement planning, and other outputs that related to project execution. The techniques and tools that's needed to plan for quality, um, some of them can be uh, just looking at the different um, benefit and cost and analyze them based on that, based on the company's or the organization historical data, historical information, and some of them is comparing the company or the organization with other people, where we call it benchmarking. So we can do benefit cost analysis, which is internal, based on the information available for us, and all trade-offs would be considered. Um, the benefit from that is to have less work, higher productivity, and lower cost, and increase the stakeholder satisfaction. Um, all expenses will be considered uh, as a primary cost. All the expenses that associated with the quality management activities. The other one, like we said, the benchmarking, which is looking at other organization or comparing the project execution with other companies. The benchmarking could be within the organization, or also benchmarking with other organizations. If the company is huge enough, large enough, like Walmart or like Procter and Gamble, Johnson and Johnson, all these companies are huge enough to have an internal benchmarking between the different units or different departments. Um, while other small companies can actually benchmark, looking at other organization that has similar projects or similar activities to be performed for project execution. The idea is to provide a standard for measurement of performance, to make sure that the best practice is being followed, and that quality standards being implemented. Another tool that can be used to plan for quality is flowcharting, which is a quality management technique that generally include the cause and effect diagram. So we know the different factors that's involved in a certain activity, and the effect of missing one of the factors, or having um, shortage on one of these factors, what might affect the activity and quality of that outcome for the activity. In addition, we can use system or process flow charts, where we can know the sequence of the different processes, how does it flow, and where a problem might happen or an issue might happen, so we can anticipate the problem and help develop the appropriate approach to deal with such a problem. Fourth tool is design of experiment. In design of experiment, we look at the different variables involved in the outcome, the overall outcome, and how does it influence that outcome. Based on that, we have statistical analysis that will show the different effect from the different variables, how to predict and how to anticipate the different issues, what will happen. Then we create trade-offs, alternatives, and solutions based on the statistical analysis that's been done through design of experiment with the different variables or different factors. The output for the quality planning is the quality management plan. So that's what we are looking for. We are looking for a plan that can describe how the project management team will implement the quality policy, how they are going to um, uh, define the structure, the roles and responsibilities, the resources needed for the implementation of such a management or quality management plan, and then they should actually address the quality assurance and the continuous improvement of the project implementation and activity execution. We will have also operation definitions. Operational definitions describe what something is and how it's measured by the quality control process. They are also called metrics. In some areas of application, it depends on is it technical, manufacturing, or is it service. So it depends on the outcome of the project and the deliverables at the end of the project. We can also include checklists as an output, which is a tool that's used to verify that a set of required steps or requirements have been performed. So we have a checklist and go over the checklist, making sure that we did implement or we did accomplish the points or the items on the checklist. Many organizations, companies, or even small businesses have their own standard checklist to ensure consistency of the work being performed. The quality planning will be used as an input to other processes that's needed or that needs such a plan. The second process is the quality assurance, and the quality assurance is evaluating the overall project performance on a regular basis to provide a confidence that the project will satisfy the relevant quality standards. So actually it encompasses all the planned and systematic activity implemented in a quality system. And that's the only purpose of that is to provide confidence that the project will satisfy the relevant quality standards. So quality assurance is provided by the quality assurance department or a special unit. Sometimes it's a team, it's not separate departments, so it depends on the size of the company, the structure of the company, and if they are willing to spend money to make sure that they have quality standards in place. So it might be a team, it might be a whole department that's assigned for quality assurance. The quality assurance can be internal or can be external. Internal, we mean that the project management team to the performing organization, or it can be provided by the customer to the customer and other parties involved in the project. The inputs needed for the quality assurance is the quality management plan, the results of quality control measurements, which is the analysis and comparison that we did through benchmarking or through design of experiment or other factors, learning about the other factors and their effect on the quality of the project or the activity execution, and the operational definitions. The different tools and techniques that can be used in quality assurance can be used the same one that we use in planning, in the quality planning, can be used in quality assurance. In addition, we can use quality audits, which are structured review of other quality management activities. The reason for that, or the reason that we are using quality audits, that they may be timely or carried out randomly, and they may be carried out by properly trained internal auditors. So the idea is to inspect and make sure that the quality plan is being carried out and being implemented through the different project activities and different phases of the project life cycle. The output of quality assurance is the quality improvement. Since we are following up, making sure that the quality plan being implemented and the activities are following the certain quality standards, rules, and regulations, then actually we are improving quality as we go. That will be a benefit provided for the stakeholders for that project. If we have any corrective action, it should be handled according to procedure. If we have a change form or change procedure or process for changing activities, then we have to follow the procedures and rules for the change. But most likely, if any changes that was required during the implementation of the processes or implementation of the quality plan, then a corrective action will be taken and it will be handled accordingly. The third and last process is the quality control. And the quality control is monitoring the specific project results to determine if they comply with the relevant quality standards that's been implemented through the whole process. Usually, we are trying to identify ways to eliminate causes of unsatisfactory performance. So we are trying to manage the quality and control the quality standards that we implemented through the course of action or the project life cycle and different phases. The project results that's mentioned include both product results such as the deliverables and management results such as cost and schedule performance. So we are trying to make sure that actually we are within budget, within schedule. In addition, we are making sure that the product that's been delivered within customer satisfaction and within the guidelines and rules of the product itself. The quality control is often performed by quality control department if possible, but again, you might have just a team that's responsible for implementing quality control. The project management team should have a working knowledge of the statistical quality control, especially sampling. To control the quality, you need to collect some samples, and the team should understand the concept of sampling and probability to help in evaluating the control the outputs of the project or the different activities. The project management, to control the quality, they need to be aware of the prevention concept, which is keeping error out of the process, the inspection concept, which is keeping error out of the customer hands, the difference between the prevention and inspection. And usually the prevention is better than having the customer find the error for the project team. And then the attribute sampling, which is for conformity of results, and then the variable sampling, where the results are rated on a continuous scale that measures the degree of conformity or non-conformity. The special cause, which is unusual events, and then random causes like normal process variation, the tolerance, where results should fall within a defined tolerance range. Usually we have a certain range for the results that they should be within. Um, Controlling the limits, the process is in control of it fall within these defined limits, where we said we have a range or limits, then all the results should be within range or within limits. The inputs needed for quality control is the work results, the quality management plan, the operational definitions, and the checklists that we created in the quality plan. The quality control tools and techniques that's needed, we have the inspection, which includes activities such as measuring, examining, and testing undertaken to determine whether results conform to requirements. It can be carried out on the level of a single activity, where we have buffers between the different activities to make sure that the output of one activity is good as an input for another activity, so it will be between the two activities. Or we can actually have buffers every 3-4 activities or a group of activities, so it depends on how many activities or the detailed activities. If you have many activities to produce a certain product, then it will be a waste of time to have on the detailed activities or the small activities buffers to control that activity or to control the quality of that activity. So the inspection will be on a group of activities or on a main process. Another tool or technique is the control chart, and those charts are graphical representation which display the result of a process over time and are used to determine if the process is under control or not. When the process is under control, it should not be adjusted. However, it may be changed or maybe altered to provide better improvement for the process itself. Those charts can be used to monitor and any type of output variability. So we are looking at the variability of the output, and we are using that to monitor repetitive activity in production, which can also be used to monitor the cost and schedule variance. Variability of the output or the outcome of an activity, the variability of the cost, and the variability of the schedule. The Pareto diagram, which is a histogram ordered by frequency of occurrence, which shows how many results were generated by what category or identified cause. Usually the team should take action to fix the problems that are causing the greatest number of defects first. If we have more than one reason or one cause, then we look at the most frequency or the higher frequency and try to minimize or eliminate without affecting the outcome of or the effect of the other factors. Typically, the Pareto chart or Pareto diagram reflects the relatively small number of causes which is responsible for the majority of the problems of defects. The sampling. The statistical sampling involves choosing a part of a population, and usually we choose a random population, random sampling, for inspection. The appropriate sampling can effectively reduce the cost of quality control. Um, there are lots of research that's been done in this area for statistical sampling, and the management has to be uh, aware of that, um, and has to train the team or the employees on the different sampling techniques. Then we have flow charting, which is used in quality control to help analyze how a problem occurs. In addition, we have trend analysis, and the trend analysis involves the use of mathematical techniques to forecast future outcomes based on historical results, which is often related to monitoring technical performance and the cost and schedule performance. Um, we look at the historical data, how it's been acting, what's the trend, and we predict what's going to happen in the future or the next few weeks. Um, the closer the prediction, the more accurate. The further the prediction, the more or the less accurate in the forecast or in the prediction. What we expect as an output for the quality control is the quality improvement and the acceptance decision from the satisfied customer, and rework if needed, if an action need to be taken for defects or non-conforming items, then a rework need to be done. For this rework, usually data will be collected just to make sure how frequent is that and what are the causes, and then run analysis to minimize the different defects and different reworks that's been done. Also, a completed checklist will be an output for the quality control, which will be historical data that can be used in future projects, and to make sure that the quality being implemented correctly in future projects that has similar activities. Then we have process adjustments, which involves immediate corrective or preventive action as a result of the quality control measurements. And also this will be documented as a new process or adjustment for the process that can be updated and then will be used in a new project or the execution of a new activity. This will be all for the quality management within a project. If you have any questions, you can email it through Florida Online. Thank you.